Hi, my friends and family. My name's Trey, and this is my daily ritual. Trey's timeless 15 minutes of explain on YouTube. And today, for my Sunday service, I must say, what a glorious time, timeless moment to be alive in the timeless now moment. However, what a grand tragicomedy, drama. What an intense battle we are in, the most intense ever between light and dark, even and especially within our subconscious minds. And my talk today, my sermon, is called The Fifth and Sixth Essential Elements, Ether and Metal, which represent truth and freedom esoterically in my mind in some ways. First, when there's nothing but a dream to survive in a world made of steel, made of stone. A prison slave, planet system, demiurgic reincarnation, death trap that you know. And you think that you must live for the black box. What a feeling. You gotta transcend the make-believing. Take the passion to make it happen. You can come alive dancing through your life. The fifth and sixth elements, ether and metal. Well, if you're a 3D slave or someone in the scientism death cult, you believe this is all you got, right? Sight, touch, smell. You can defecate and piss. You can think, feel, and have pain. But what about the fifth and sixth elements? Well, in the movie, the fifth element is, I believe, some kind of metal. So I would say metal would be the sixth element because I'm a Fiacus, according to Laura Eisenhower's interpretation. The element of both my rising and sun sign, according to Lisa Renee, Laura's teacher, is fire/water or ethers. So, what is ether? Ethers, ether is space, but it includes everything in your so-called aura or your personal space, and it can certainly be a lot of physical things, but they're invisible. So, in order for you to remain in this belief structure that you must be a 3D slave for your own ego, your body, it's essential for the matrix controller system that you believe that ethers don't exist. Okay, so around about 100 or 120 years ago, they erased this idea when they began to create the modern New Age movement and the technocratic takeover. They just, they realized ethers can't exist simply because this is what they've done is filled the ethers with negative alien weapons, particularly in cities. Especially if you live in a metal building. But of course, as I've said before, Nikola Tesla invented Wi-Fi over 130 years ago, and it's all based around his awareness of ethers. It's an etheric invention, as most of his inventions are. So I believe ether is the fifth element. So for me, having several deadly deadly mental and physical illnesses, this has always been an integral and key part of my physical and spiritual and mental healing, is having personal space, ideally with oxygen, with ethers. Teal Swan said, we're in an electromagnetic soup. We can't see it. That's if you're in the house, a normal house or city Wi-Fi. So this is the importance of recognizing and clearing the ethers is really key. As I say, personally, for anyone, I think you need to have some tolerance breaks from these microwave gadgets, because all the invisible energy around you, the Wi-Fi, including your thoughts, of course, your negative thoughts especially, can be amplified with these EMF weapons and the nanotech rain, the implants, the pollution, the smog. Um, for years, I lived, where I existed in a teepee or a wigwam, a small teepee I just used to sleep and reside in. But it was heavily insulated, so I controlled my etheric space, right? My personal space, the quality of the oxygen, things in it, just ganja or candle, oxygen. But when I came back from South Carolina, I just stayed in the tent for the last 6, 7 months, and having this atmospheric river, including the nanotech dumped on me, I've really got to experience the horror of someone who tries to exist in the tent, a so-called houseless person with no etheric space has to go through on a daily basis, because they can't insulate from the nanotech, the heavy metals, the lithium, the smog, all inside of especially if they're in the city. So I've had learned to have a lot more compassion for tent dwellers during this time, and van dwellers, because they're not going to, as a teepee dweller, or especially a heavily insulated wigwam dweller, I could control the ethers a lot more. So this is why I got to rebuild something more insulated, with this insane technocrat and negative aliens making it on average 20 degrees cooler everywhere I've been for the last 8 months. It's all invisible energy around you, the Wi-Fi, your thoughts, um, your subconscious fears and worries can influence your etheric body, right, or your astral body, your fourth dimensional body. Rentals, rooms, like I stayed in motel rooms, and they can be really sick, physically with mold, but also psychically sick with psychotic people who have stayed in it, the etheric, and full of a lot of 5G or powerful microwaves. So having your own room, your own space, is one reason sensitive or empathic people feel that the imperative to be a wage slave still, or the subconscious need to rent, because they want to be able to establish their own etheric space, not have these tweakers beg them for money and give them sob stories all the time or whatever. So you see, if you go beyond the scientism, death cult theology, inverted thinking, in the traditional Indian, like from the continent India, yogic and shamanic wisdom, hermitage, such as the way I reside here, were just a normal part of the way of yogis and shamans, especially in their apprenticeship or their beginning days before they became teachers. And these traditions all included a basic understanding of the ethers. And this understanding was attempted and often wiped out by the negative aliens. And as I said, they didn't label microwave devices, but they want to dominate them with their evil vibes, their positive ions and bad etheric energy, and negative alien parasites who live in the bad ethers. Einstein's theory on relativity and the scientism death cult and the mainstream media, almost all of it, all of it being run by these 6 corporations who were all friends and occultists, black magicians. They knew that by controlling and eliminating the knowledge of ethers, as well as good and evil and morality, were 2 keys. So that for you to know the truth, and that the truth shall set you free. Okay, you got to know that if you live in your car, your van, or you hang out in it all the time, you're breathing in microplastics. Your ethers are saturated with microplastics. There's ether in the air. So one way the ancients, the shamans and yogis, to this day, people, to physically clean your etheric space, you get a piece of sage, what's called a sage wand. dried sage and light it, and that will clear. And then you use another one from South America called Palo Santo for a shamanic technique. Say a prayer, whatever clearing prayer, and go through your house after you've done the sage with Palo Santo, and that will, they say, attract to maintain the positive energy. And notice the oxygen content around you as you sleep or in your home. That drastically affects the qualities of your ethers, of course. And as far as metal, I'm gonna have to go do a part 2 about metal here. So, the creation of pots and pans, I think, might have been one of the key first inventions. Um, the discovery of metals in the earth, and a long time ago, thousands of years, they started to make swords, wheels. For the first carts, they had wheels, right? So then this led to the invention of cannons and guns, which I actually believe were negative aliens, negative aliens gave people the thoughts of how to make guns, at least like telepathically gave them that information, to start this insane cycle of planetary warfare that they wanted to lead it to that. But see, then that led to something not quite as evil, trains. Then we have bicycles, cars. The bicycle to me is one of the greatest inventions of all time because it's harmless and it requires no carbon footprint, hardly any to operate. So of course with cars we brought in a lot of pollution, the internal combustion engine, and running on fossil fuels or carbon based, petroleum coming from the earth. It's basically a liquid metal. So I say that the Kali Yuga, we're actually in the age of liquid metals right now. So then we have computers. Wow, how amazing is this, right? What an amazing gift. Thank you to all who brought us this gift of the laptop, right? And so several decades into the worldwide usage of computers, we have the forced introduction of graphene dioxide and nanotech self-replicating tiny metals, self-replicating nanobot injections. You have to understand the veils of multidimensionality to see why the ethers were hidden from your view. And this also makes it really blatantly obvious why the stuff I say about zetas and all the other evil interdimensional parasite radio programs trying to harm you through your mind, because the human mind is, it operates in the etheric domain. Or for me, like for example, when I come to my camp here, I communicate far better, even though there's a lot of microwave pollution here too. I communicate far better than around all the stuff in the city, right? So you have to understand the veils of multidimensionality, the scientism, 3D death cult, is they're maintaining it through the wage slavery, the false beliefs that there's only 3 dimensions, and through the extensive Wi-Fi and the 5G, and not allowing you to have personal space. So this is why even tweakers, some homeless, houseless people that live in the forest didn't believe in the bullshit, because they had, even if they're on bad drugs, they had the space to think about it away from the programming. So, of course, to reclaim your multidimensionality and your etheric space, meditation and gnosis are 2 of the biggest keys. If you can meditate, and as far as metals, we're in the age of nanotech, of these self-replicating tiny machines. It's terrifying what they've been able to do with metals, but it's pretty fascinating. If you enjoyed this commentary, click on subscribe and click the notification bell for more videos like this and more videos about truth, freedom, gnosis, and reclaiming your divine birthright, your multidimensional Christ higher self body. And create a great day. Please take 15 or 20 minutes off at least once a week on the strong end on Sunday. give thanks to the sun, to breathe deeply and meditate and be thankful. You can do that. I'm going to talk about metal a little more in this next one. God bless you, my family.